Welcome to Woodland Park, Colorado. At over 8,000 feet, the city is referred to as a city above the clouds. How fitting, for the story I'm about to tell you is about a woman who was at her happiest when she was above the clouds, where she felt at peace, an almost indescribable sensation of freedom, confidence, and gratitude as the plane she flew glided above the clouds. Woodland Park is a quiet, safe town, so high in the mountains that you can literally feel like you can just reach up and touch the sky. The locals here are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet, who welcome newcomers with open arms, where everyone knows everybody by name, who pride themselves on being an all-American city, a safe place to raise a family, quite literally heaven on earth. Kelsey Berreth was raised on the family farm in Moses Lake, Washington. As a child, she loved to help out on the family farm, doing chores from sunup to sundown, playing, working, learning, and satisfying her own curiosity. Kelsey was someone who loved to put her hands on the earth and get them dirty, but her eyes were always drawn heavenward, to the sky above. Kelsey has been described by those who knew her best as adventurous, fun, intelligent, and happy. As a young girl, Kelsey used to love watching the crop dusters fly around the family farm. She was fascinated by them and would sit and watch them for hours as they fell from the sky, hovered a few feet from the ground, and then instantly they would shoot up back into the sky almost as if gravity didn't exist. It was in these quiet moments as a child where Kelsey dreamed of flying above the clouds. She would tell anyone who would listen that one day she was going to be a pilot and fly a crop duster. Girls don't fly crop dusters, she was told, but this didn't discourage her from her dream, and she kept her eye on the prize. I'm not sure if she ever got to fly a crop duster, like the one seen here, but we can only imagine that she did, and that day was special, and that she was happy, overjoyed in fact, to climb into that cockpit and see the world from a different point of view, one that she had only dreamed about as a child looking upward. Growing up in Moses Lake, Washington, Kelsey seemed to have it all. She grew up, became a respected pilot, good looks, a sense of humor, a sense of adventure, money, friends, family, you name it. She had it all, except for the one thing she wanted most, a family she could call her own. And then one day, just like that, like a bolt from the blue, she met the man of her dreams. A man who he himself was no stranger to hard work, who also grew up on a ranch in a hard-working environment. A handsome man who had the face of a Boy Scout and more charm than you can shake a stick at. This is definitely somebody that she wanted to bring home to Mom. Patrick Frazee swept Kelsey Berreth off her feet, 100%. She told those closest to her that she had met the man of her dreams and called him her cowboy from Colorado. Kelsey did in fact bring him home to Mom and got her seal of approval. That was very important to Kelsey because her and her mother were so close, and all her mother Cheryl ever wanted was for Kelsey to be happy. Patrick seemed to fit right in, a good old country boy who wouldn't harm a flea. Close to his mother as well, she having a major influence on his life, and by all outward appearances, it seemed that Patrick had been brought up right. He was kind, respectful, he had manners, and all the things that moms hope their daughters find in a man. From Kelsey's point of view, it seemed like Patrick was reciprocating the love which she felt for him. So much so that it was time for her to make a major life decision and move 1,000 miles from home to the city above the clouds and start her life as Mrs. Frazee. So after Kelsey found out she was pregnant with her little girl, she found a job at DOS Aviation, bought a condo in Woodland Park, and started to lay the groundwork for her and Patrick to build a life on. What she found, however, was that life wasn't as easy as she thought it would be. Patrick was distant and secretive, and pregnancy was rough. Not to mention the 60-mile drive to Pueblo every day and the 60 miles home. But that was Kelsey. She was gifted at being a multitasker and being able to balance all the many things that she had going on in life. After baby Kaylee was born, Patrick tried to help as much as he could, oftentimes having his mom watch the baby. But there was something about Patrick that Kelsey noticed early on that bothered her deeply. What was he hiding? As you're about to find out, he was hiding a lot. Years before meeting Kelsey, Patrick had dated another woman by the name of Crystal Lee Kinney, a blonde-haired rodeo queen. She was just the way Patrick liked them. It seemed that Crystal had been down the same road Kelsey was now on, falling in love with Patrick Frazee. Patrick seemed to have such an influence on women, and Crystal fell hard and wanted to spend the rest of her life with Patrick. But for one reason or another, it didn't work out, and Crystal got married near Twin Falls, Idaho, had her own kids and her own family, and forgot all about Patrick Frazee. Or did she? It was later discovered that Crystal in fact still loved Patrick, so much so that when her marriage fell apart in Idaho, she began corresponding with Patrick on a regular basis. She wasn't surprised to hear from him because they had one of those relationships where they could just go years without speaking and then just all of a sudden pick back up where they left off. After Kaylee was born, Kelsey was stretched thin, and something was wearing thin. It was her patience with Patrick. What's up with this guy, she thought. Here we are engaged to be married, we have a newborn baby, and yet his mind is out in left field. What is going on? Fights and arguments appeared to be commonplace. Kelsey, being human, at times would have enough of the emotional drama and the roller coaster, and out of anger she would tell Patrick that she was going to get the baby and she had no problem going back to Washington.
This infuriated Patrick. So this is all happening around the time that Patrick starts talking to Crystal Lee Kinney once again, and Patrick had some sort of a control over Crystal Kinney, it seems, even way back before Kelsey was involved. He was the type of guy that he was the man of the house. He wasn't going to be told what to do. He was one of those wild Mustangs that wasn't going to be tamed out there on the ranch. So Crystal was kind of afraid of him, but at the same time in love with him, and had been for years, even throughout her marriage. So I'm setting the stage here for what's about to happen, and what's about to happen is going to blow your mind.
Patrick began a secret correspondence with Kinney behind Kelsey's back. Kelsey knew Patrick had his issues, but she never suspected he could be talking to another woman, especially one with whom he shared a previous romance. Crystal listened as Patrick began telling her how he had gotten himself into a mess, how he had ended up knocking up some chick from Washington, and that she wanted to get married, but he couldn't stand her and wanted her gone. Patrick knew from prior experiences that Crystal Kinney would do just about anything he asked. He had asked for favors in the past, and she always came through. He knew her loyalty and devotion towards him, so when he needed a favor, he didn't hesitate to ask. This is where Patrick put his sinister plan in motion. "I need you to kill her," he told Kinney. "Get a cup of coffee, put poison in it, go knock on her door, say you're just there welcoming her to the neighborhood, hand her the cup of coffee, and make sure she drinks it," he instructed Kinney. Kelsey did as Patrick instructed and arrived at Kelsey's doorstep with a fresh cup of joe in hand. Her heart beating so fast it felt like it was going to beat out of her chest. I don't think Kelsey ever intended on killing her that day, but was curious to see who her competition was and see for herself who this awful person was that Patrick had been describing. So she left the poison in her pocket and out of Kelsey's cup, and they stood there in the doorway chatting like old friends, and Crystal realized how incredibly nice and sweet Kelsey was. But now she was involved a lot more than she had wished she had been.
When she reported back to Patrick, he was excited, almost giddy to hear the news. "Did you do it?" he asked. Crystal shook her head and told him she couldn't go through with it. He became irate and demanded that she try again, but this time forget the poison, take this metal bar, and wait outside her condo. As soon as she comes out, beat her to a pulp, he instructed Kinney. So with the metal pipe, she went back to Kelsey's condo and waited in her own car. Finally getting up the courage, she got out and walked halfway to the doorway before ditching the pipe and calling Patrick. "I just can't kill her," she told Patrick. He exploded into a rage and said, "If you can't do it, then I'll have to do it myself." Crystal left and drove back to Idaho. Patrick met Kelsey back at her house after she went to Safeway to buy some ingredients to make a Thanksgiving meal. Safeway surveillance cameras caught Kelsey and her daughter Kaylee walking into the store. This would be one of the last places that she would be seen alive. When she got home, Patrick met her there and told her he had a surprise for her. Excited, she asked what it was. "You have to put this blindfold on. I have several candles here that I want you to smell and tell me which one you like best," he told her. She trusted him and put on the blindfold. Once the blindfold had been securely fastened, he reached behind the shower curtain, where he stashed a baseball bat and began to violently bash in Kelsey's head. She immediately fell, but he continued to beat her to a pulp,
just like he instructed Kenny to do. He dropped the bat, grabbed the baby, and left the house. Blood and gore everywhere. Patrick called Crystal Kenny from his landline and informed her she had a mess to clean up. When the conversation was over, Crystal was back on the road, Colorado bound, to return to clean up the mess which Patrick had created at Kelsey's apartment. Namely, he asked her to come and clean up the blood and gore scattered throughout the house. I shouldn't say he asked her, he demanded, stating, and I quote, "You have a mess to clean up," end of quote.
So tell me, when you came in, what did you see?
When I first walked in, I saw blood all over the floor. I saw blood up the wall. Saw blood on this wall. That's what I first saw.
All right, can you tell me what the position, where the couch was, and where the coffee table was?
The couch was right here by the door,
Okay.
and the coffee table was lengthwise about 2 feet from the fireplace.
And when you say 2 feet from the fire, was it in front of it? Was it to the side?
To the side of it.
Okay. And then what else was in here? I know it's kind of torn up right now, but.
There were 2 chairs right there with a TV on top of it.
All right.
There was a bunch of baby toys around the front.
Okay.
There were some blankets on the couch and some pillows.
Okay. Hey, just so you know, the camera's rolling, we'll be recording this, so. Okay. Got that. You want me to do this too? I think we're okay with the photos right now. I just wanted to point out a few things. Gotcha. In a minute. So, again, it started the door open. Can you go ahead and tell me where the TV was?
There is the wall.
All right. And when you said that, where did you start putting on all the stuff you brought?
Right here at the door.
Okay, what'd you do with your bag?
I put it right here.
Okay. And you put your stuff on, and what did you start cleaning up first?
I started picking up things that were blood splattered that I would have a hard time getting blood out of.
Okay. Can you specifically show us, in the interview you told us that you had left blood spots. Can you show me where you left those? And then I'd like Eric to go ahead and take a photograph of those areas. Okay.
There?
All right.
Right
All right, so can you go ahead and point to the first one and just let Eric will tell you where to, when he's ready to take
there. I
a
don't
picture.
now, but it was maybe right there. I know it was down low and then I went up high. I'm pretty sure those are the 2 spots.
Did you leave blood anywhere else that you didn't clean up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
There was a baby gate. And I put it back here, but I don't see it.
Okay. Okay, so they took the baby gate. Okay, is this where you put it?
I put it back here, yes.
All right. Did you touch or manipulate anything in here while you were in here?
Yeah, I put laundry detergent in the washing machine and towels in there. I had been instructed to try to wash things,
Okay.
and I didn't do that.
You said a towel?
There might have been a couple of towels that I put inside the washing machine, but they were just towels from dirty laundry. They didn't have anything on them that I was aware of.
Do you remember what color they were?
Red.
Okay. And do you remember where you got the detergent from?
I believe it was sitting with the washing machine.
You do. Okay. And just looking in there now. Do you want to
Oh, maybe no, maybe it wasn't. 'Cause
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember where it
All right.
from,
Okay.
but it came from here.
All right. So moving into the bathroom here, it's a little torn up. Can you tell me what you saw in here and what you cleaned up?
I didn't see anything. I was specifically told to clean the bathroom.
Okay.
So, but I didn't see anything. There might have been blood. There was a lot of blood. So
Right.
they're on the floor, all over the floor. And there, so there may have been bloody footprints in here, but I don't specifically remember.
Okay.
I wiped the sink down. I wiped the toilet, the top of the toilet. I turned on the shower just in case there was stuff in the bottom. I didn't see anything in the bottom of the shower.
All right. So if I understand you correctly, you saw blood on the floor or no? In the bathroom, do you remember?
I don't remember.
All right. Okay. So coming out, can you show me or tell me where you got additional trash bags from?
Right there.
Okay, that's the happy. Okay. Anything else in here that you grabbed?
There was a white bucket, like a white cleaning bucket.
Okay.
But I don't see it in there anymore.
All right. Do you recognize any of this stuff?
Yes.
And what are you pointing to?
See your chest? The back of it was facing this way. It's all blood spattered on the back.
Okay.
This is the TV that was sitting up there.
All right. And did you say, correct me if I'm wrong, did you say that you cleaned off some of the appliances?
I did. I wiped there was blood on the front of the dishwasher. There was blood on the front of the stove. There was, that cinnamon roll pan had blood on the tinfoil on top of it.
Okay, so let me go back. There was tinfoil on top of it?
On top of the cinnamon roll pan, it was sitting right there.
And what'd you do with the tinfoil?
I put it in the rest of the stuff.
Okay.
There was blood on top of the coffee maker. There was blood. In fact, I had to climb up. There was a blood spatter up high.
How'd you climb up?
I just climbed up right here on the counter. If you take down that stuff,
Yeah.
if you look in that stuff, I didn't go through it. There may be stuff up in that. There was blood spatter on the side of here and on the front of the cabinet.
So when you say blood spatter on there, can you go ahead and point to the areas?
Here, down this.
Okay, hold on, let me get a picture of it. Go ahead, put your finger.
Have somebody went through all that now? Because there may be blood in there. I didn't look at it.
All right. Is there blood anywhere else?
There was, I noticed some on some of these appliances, and so I wiped it and pitched it in the sink.
Right.
So anything that was in the sink, I don't know, I don't remember exactly, but I had put it in the sink.
So if we were to use that piece of wood trim there, can you use that piece of wood and point to where that blood is that you cleaned up?
It's got nails sticking out, so be careful on the back.
Just hold it there for a second. Okay. Can you tell me where the Bible was, or the religious book that you said had? He's going to picture that so you can.
Did you lift the blinds and look at the glass? Because there may be blood back there too.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Do you see the curtain rod?
Yes.
Is that the condition it was in? Do you remember?
No, it was not.
Tell me what you know.
It was straight, but to get the curtains off, I had to climb up and undo, and it was straight. And after I got done with it, it wasn't straight anymore.
Okay. Can you also, let me try to find something different. Can you point, just down there for a minute? And if I understand you correctly, you did not use any of Kelsey's supplies other than some of the clean stuff, the racks, or the towels and what? Okay. So with this broom, can you point to the area where you saw and cleaned blood up on the wall? You just hold it there so we get a picture of that. Okay, anywhere else?
It was, the spray was, from here all the way. I had to clean up underneath here, and it was all down here. And, I know that I didn't get, I don't know that I got some of this underneath here because I didn't move the chairs to get it.
Okay. All right, so then upstairs, can you take us upstairs and show us where the blood that you saw up there? Watch your feet.
Want me just to use that?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably be in the way, so I want you to
There
go
were
ahead and.
just bloody footprints all up the stairs. And,
Can you squeeze in front of me? Got it.
Anywhere else in here?
not that I saw.
Did you go on the other side of the bed?
No, I did not.
Okay, all right.
You might take that and get that related too, because I didn't touch that with anything.
So you're talking about that
Pumpkin thing.
pumpkin thing you ran me?
Yeah, and any of the, I didn't clean any of this stuff, this decorative, and there was blood spatter clear up on here and on the blind.
So can you tell me the condition of the blinds when you were here, the drapes?
They were open and hanging and blood spatter.
Okay, so when you say open, how far open were they?
They were all the way, there was able to have blood spatter from here all the way across
Okay.
to here.
So when you're talking blood spatter, I mean, how much are you talking about?
There wasn't much here, it was just spots
Okay,
that I was able just to wipe.
all right.
This
And,
had blood all over it too.
and you're pointing to the
The rocking
rocking chair? All right,
This had blood on it.
okay.
There was blood on the front of that picture.
Do you remember the fireplace and where about on the fireplace if, because I think you said in the interview there was some blood.
On the rough out, but
Watch your
I don't see it now, but I just remember just leaving it alone because
Okay.
of the rough out blood.
What vents did you clean?
That was
That vent right there, and can you point, if you remember, where the tooth was?
Use the broom.
Around the tooth, what was there, if anything?
blood.
All right. Is there anything else that you remember?
I moved the couch. I wiped the couch off. There was blood behind the couch down the wall. There was a stand, some sort of stand right there by the couch, and the lamp and that basket were on it. I worked from that side all the way around, did the upstairs. And then I did the bathroom and the kitchen and mopped the floors, and then out.
All right. So you had also talked, excuse me, about cookie cutters.
They were in that cabinet.
They were in the cabinet?
They were in the cabinet. He specifically told me to get those out and clean them.
All right. And do you know how many there were?
It was a baggie.
It was a baggie. Did you see anything on the baggie?
I didn't.
All right. So if I understand correctly, you kind of were in this area first in the living room, and then from the living room you went upstairs, and then you came back downstairs, went into the bathroom, and then came in and cleaned the floor, and then left. Okay. All right. And did you point out to where the baby gate was when you saw it? When you came in?
It was right here, leaning against the wall.
All right.
And there was blood. There's blood on the wall here. There's blood on the wall here, and there was blood right here.
Okay. Was there any blood on the TV, do you remember?
Yeah, there was blood on the TV. Okay. There was blood on the chairs. There's blood on this chair. There's blood on the table. There's blood on the Hobby Lobby bag that was sitting there.
Okay. All right. Good to go. Anything else that you remember or want to talk about in this area, here in her place?
Not that I remember right now, but if I do remember something else,
Okay.
you might flip that couch up because I didn't do anything with the bottom of the couch. So if there's any kind of anything underneath there may be.
Okay. All right. For processing
There
here
was blood on that,
on
the paper shredder,
okay.
and that vase. But I cleaned the vase.
Okay. All right. Ms. Nielsen, you have anything? Okay. We're going to go ahead and shut the video off and leave. It's now 11:30.
Kelsey walked out of Safeway that fateful day. She had no idea the monster that was waiting for her.
Kelsey Berreth now lives in the real city above the clouds, where she looks down on all of us, especially her young daughter Kaylee. Kelsey will never have the opportunity to raise Kaylee and teach her all the fun things about flying airplanes. But now, history repeats itself, with Kaylee growing up on the family farm with Grandma. I can just picture her staring out the window, just like her mother did, watching the crop dusters and dreaming of one day flying high in the sky, just like her mommy.